The Major Arena Soccer League is proud to welcome you to MASL Soccer on MASL TV. I am fired up. Gina Rai, our star-spangled anthem singer, got the arm hairs on my forearms rising. And if that's not going to get you excited, an anthem like that, I don't know what is. Let's look at our starting lineup.
Looking at the top for Empire Strykers, you got Anthony Powell and Munir Alami, Walter Diaz in the middle, Justin Stinson, Steven Chavez on the edges, and then Brian Orozco in the goal.
For Utica City, Gio Alves, Manny Silva. We welcome back Willie Spur, Juan Alava, Junior Pinal, and in between the sticks, Brian Wilkin. For the Utica City fans tuning into this broadcast, we want to say thank you so much for staying up this late. Utica City, some of the best fans in the Major Arena Soccer League. Also happy to announce that you potentially will be seeing Nilton DeAndrade for the first time as we are underway under the beautiful bright lights of Toyota Arena. It's the Strykers taking on Utica City. As we mentioned in the top of the broadcast, not an extensive history between these two teams. 7th meeting all time. Strykers lead the series 4-2. Last season, Utica City would come into the Empire and defeat the Strykers by a score of 9-6. Both teams on the outside of that playoff party line looking to pick up a win today, and a much important one. Utica City only 5 points behind the Empire Strykers, but with 2 games in hand, a win today would be massive for the boys from upstate New York as Justin Stinson fires one, saved by Wilkin.
Looking forward to an exciting goalkeeper duel tonight. Both goalkeepers can come forward and score. Both are very athletic, as we can see here. It's going to be a fun night, Philly.
Yeah, we saw Wilkins score just a couple of days ago. Brian Orozco of the Empire Strykers also very capable of scoring, and that's the beauty of this sport. The goalkeepers can score. It's not the rarities like you would see the Tim Howards of the world score goals in the outdoor game. Keepers very much a part of the excitement and the action here on the turf.
That was a pretty cheeky outside of the foot hit from Wilkin as well. It's quality.
There we see Walter Diaz Gonzalez kicking it over to his captain, Robert Palmer. And there we see Marco Fabian, the Mexican international legend, gets dispossessed by Shalir. Rashad Ahmadi off the wall, and there's Diaz Gonzalez breaking it up. Alava over to Ahmadi. While a score opportunity, and Orozco nabs that one as Shalir was robbed of a apparent goal. Brian Orozco with the heads-up play.
Very good play across the board. There's that goalkeeper stuff I was telling you about.
That one gets elevated into the air and into the stands.
You can see already Utica is going to take advantage of that first panel and just do the wall of score. It was very effective there, and I would imagine, you know, a lot of the East Coast use it a lot more frequent than the West Coast, so we'll see how this plays out.
There we see Nilton DeAndrade wearing the number 10 back into the lineup. It took me by surprise, as we haven't seen DeAndrade all season. He only scored 25 goals and had 9 assists last season. A very important part of Coach Everton Moreira's lineup as as the Strykers try to bat it out of the danger zone. That was cued Lawal, only playing in a handful of games for the Strykers, recently signed as a free agent from the Milwaukee Wave. Qudus Lawal had an impact just a couple of games ago. That one's going to come off of Alan Perez. Cole Stevens on the restart. Utica City, 11 games played, 3 wins, 6 losses, 2 overtime. But this is a team that their record not indicative of the amount of talent they have. Empire Strykers on the run is Mansoure leading the charge, goes over to Lawal. Mansoure finds a shot, and Abdul Mansoure scorches the back of the net from turf to twine. Empire goes up 1-0 in this 25-26 MASL campaign. Mansoure here in his 5th year in the MASL. Spent his entire career with the Empire club as Stinson shot ricochets right off of Gio Alves. Steven Chavez over to Felipe Dutra, who just recently celebrated his first goal for the Empire Strykers and in the Major Arena Soccer League. Polo Hernandez also did the same thing a couple of games ago as Brian Orozco, goalkeeper for the Empire Strykers, right around that midfield here in his 4th season in the MASL. Out of Guatemala City and Riverside, California. Riverside being the 4th most populous city in the great state of California. There we see Ali Somo, along with his brother Isak, came in from upstate New York. Somo's attempt gets batted out by Alava. Fun fact for you, the last time these two teams met was about 13 months ago. It'd be Utica City that would get the win. Isak Somo would score in that game as a member of Utica City. Utica City wearing the whites, Empire Strykers wearing the black jerseys. Strykers up by a score of 1-0 here in these early moments. Strykers, as we've seen several times this season at home, anytime they could score first, they're a pretty tough team to stop here at Toyota Arena.
Just very much wanted to say a phrase there, because Utica's had to travel back-to-back, and they had a terrible travel back from Tacoma. I mean, it's still, I don't know, the travel just wearing on them. So the running is just excellent work.
Look at Brian Orozco finding his way out of trouble, getting by Junior Pinal, connecting with Justin Stinson. So we see Willie Spur on the turf. Willie Spur was once a member of this franchise when they were called the Ontario Fury. As he was tracking back against Orozco, gave me that PTSD moment of when he and San Diego Soccer's goalkeeper Boris Pardo collided. That would end Willie Spur's year, as he would end up with a significant injury that would take him out for the rest of the year. And it's great to see Willie Spur back playing out of Seattle, Washington, here in his 5th season in the MASL. First year, of course, with Utica City. Orozco, who's been known to score from that angle, fires it and puts an extra bit of too much hot sauce on that attempt, as that sails right over Wilkin for a goalkeeper restart.
You saw Wilkin get in that ready position very early. He wasn't going to have any of that from distance for sure. He was prepared.
Andrade looking to connect with Shalier. Shalier, the 2nd leading scorer on Utica City. Teixeira over into the right. And there's an opportunity in that upper corner. Utica City with the answer. Kyle Genrich with the score. And it is now 1-1.
Both goals opportunistic. Little miss from their teammates, bouncing to a fortuitous finish. But I mean, that's the game, I mean, you just got to take advantage of the chances that you get. So the ball's going to bounce here off the boards and off players. It's what makes the game beautiful.
And we're not even 5 minutes into the first quarter. We're barely 5 minutes into the first game of Nilton DeAndrade's return, and already contributing significantly with an assist for that first goal. Utica City FC fans have missed this young man. Such an important part, and he's part of that incredible contingent out of players coming out of Cape Verde. Nilton DeAndrade getting himself a point. Genrich getting himself a goal. And we are knotted up 1-1.
Big moment now for the Strykers. They've got to create a chance here. Utica's already had 3 chances on goal. So, you don't want to get in that shootout. Just dictate the tempo. Use the travel against them. You're at home. Get a chance to run like the first goal, go at it. But this is big possession here for the Strykers.
Genrich gets his 3rd goal of the season, his 5th point out of Suffolk County, New York. Comac, New York, for that matter. Further out there in the island, 2nd year at UCFC. Played SUNY Oswego, where he was a captain. And he gets his 1st goal in this game, and the 1st goal for Utica. As that one comes right off of number 8, Toy Tavares. Toy out of Boston, Massachusetts.
So are we going to get to your stomping grounds through these New York references, Philly?
Well, can't say anybody is. I would say Genrich is probably the closest, coming out of Comac, New York. That's Long Island. I'm, of course, from Queens, New York. As Perez fires it, bangs right off of the plexi, rebounded by Fabian, gets it taken away. And Tavares puts on the brakes. Goes over to Alava. Utica City trying to advance it across the midfield. Excellent pass into Junior Pinal. Pinal, the pass and the goal. What an excellent counter by Utica City, as the goal is going to get credited to Emmanuel Belliard. Junior Pinal with the assist, and just within the blink of an eye, Utica City, after being down by a score 1-0, have now regained the lead 2-1.
Just moving the ball eloquently. I can't say it any better. Just moving the ball, committing the defender, allowing it, playing into space, and attempting goal. I mean, Pinal, that left foot of his, it's trouble. Brian came out early to try to suppress any finishing chance, but he just patiently played the ball across to a runner.
Had the honor and privilege of chatting with Junior Pinal earlier today on the show that we record called Inside the Arena. If you tune in to Empire Strykers broadcast, you've heard me mention it a couple of times. First episode should be released within the next couple of weeks. It'd be with Danny Waltman, but we did talk with Junior Pinal, who's out of San Jose, California. He's got 12 to 15 members of his family in the stands tonight. And Utica City fans, Timmy Goldman is also in the house here at Toyota Arena. Got to chat with him. He's really excited talking about his new career working for FIFA. So that pass comes into Shalier. Defended by Palmer. Palmer, multi-time Defensive Player of the Year in the Major Arena Soccer League. Thwarts the effort of the Cuban international futsaler. Empire Strykers, of course, have their own Cuban international futsaler in that of Walter Diaz Gonzalez. Known as Walter Diaz Pryor, adding the Gonzalez in just to show and pay respect to the entire family. Steven Chavez, who's really picked up his offensive prowess playing for Empire. 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 points. Had 10 goals and 10 assists playing with the Texas Outlaws last season. Pass into the corner is Mansoret, hungry for a second goal. Wilkin comes out, bats it off the wall, and it comes right to Chavez. Chavez into Orozco. Back over to Chavez. Strykers looking to spread Utica City's defense as that pass comes into Mansoret. Tries to find Chavez in on the left side. Teixeira makes the play. And we have a whistle down on the turf.
Coming in with Artie's insights here for the Strykers. Need for speed. Dynamic mentality on attack. We saw that on the goal, just running forward, 2 players going forward and control target play. For Utica, get targets involved early using press to the advantage. Strykers like to press, so if they can find that entry pass to the targets to break it, that'd be a great situation. And then close out close games. They've gone to 4 overtimes already. Everything's been close. The end of regulations kind of caught them a bit. So we're seeing them play out already. So it's going to play out even more, I imagine.
It's amazing how everybody's starting to use all the AI out there to get all their answers to their questions. And we got our own variation of an AI called Artie's Insights. Folks, coming back from the break, it was Steven Teixeira who was helped off of the turf by the trainers. And the way he hobbled, not entirely sure if he's going to make his return into the ball game. So keep your eyes on that. Steven Teixeira here in his first year in the MASL. Actually had his first goal against Baltimore back on January the 4th. So we wish him a speedy recovery. Hopefully nothing too serious, but he didn't walk off the turf on his own accord. He had to get helped off as a result of the collision in the corner. So we have a whistle blown on the turf. That being said, MASLsoccer.com is your home for everything Major Arena Soccer League. All the latest news, leaderboards, highlights, and more. Ali Soma spins around in the midfield, gets dispossessed, but gets taken down. The official's going to blow the whistle for a foul. Quick restart by the Strykers.
Utica came to play tonight. That's a big hit right there and a big hit earlier on Brian. They're ready to go.
Utica City on a 3-game losing streak, which has been the longest of the campaign. Stinson over to Isak Somo, formerly of Utica City. And on the top of the broadcast, we did mention that he scored against the Strykers as a member of the Blue and White back last December. Utica City leading Empire by a score of 2-1. And Artie, they got fire. They were starting to fire off on all cylinders relatively quickly. Wasn't that much time in between their 2 goals.
No, they had chances early on. Like I said, the sequence that just prior to the goal was very important for the Strykers. So the Strykers really got to set situations where they can run a little bit. But you kind of see the pinch here. Very difficult to go at that because of the double team. So, Everton's a good coach, man.
Good coach, and today a very well-dressed coach. I was expecting him to be in a polo and a hat, but he comes into the City of Angels, starting to look very Hollywood in his attire. Everton Moreira.
Surely appreciate that.
A legend in the game as a player and trying to solidify himself as a legend in the coaching ranks.
I had the opportunity to work with him at the Combine when I was with the Strykers on the first combine. I mean, what a great gentleman, ambassador of the sport.
Goal is open as Willie Spur knocks it in. Bottom left corner, where the dust mites dwell. Utica City, a commanding 3-1 lead here in the first quarter. Willie Spur, upon his return back to the Inland Empire, finds the back of the net. 3-1, Utica City.
You know, we've said it before, you can't lose the ball at your feet. You know, as you're dribbling the ball, people are moving off it, going away from the goal you're defending. You lose the ball at your feet, and the counter is just on, and the way the Strykers play, it's just an easy set and go. You know, very good press, press defending, very simple finish. Just cannot lose the ball at your feet, youngsters. It's just a death knell.
With the way Willie was operating, it was the defense that had their spurs caught on the turf. Willie having himself a heck of a season, by the way. One of his best in the Major Arena Soccer League. Safe to say that he's found himself a nice home in the Northeast. Willie Spur now getting his 7th assist of the campaign, 11th point of the year. Anthony Powell over to Alan Perez. Perez, couple of games where he's beaten the game clock down to the wire, had that goal, incredible goal recently on the Strykers' trip to the Midwest and the Northeast. There we see Junior Pinal. Pinal having a great sophomore season. 12 goals, now to go with 10 assists. He had 24 points last season. He's got 22 now. Fabian clearing some space. Fabian's shot gets blocked by Wilkin. And Gio Alves blasts it off the plexi. Look at the touch by Somo, connecting in with Polo Hernandez. Hernandez, Polo to Marco. There's a fun connection for you. Fabian, 3 World Cups with Mexico, won a trophy with Eintracht Frankfurt, the Pokal, which is the equivalent of the U.S. Open Cup or the FA Cup in Germany. As Shalir adding pressure to Orozco. Ball comes in, Gio Alves recovered, and there's a shot in the upper corner. Top shelf. Uncle Franz, you keep that good schnapps there. Alan Perez continues to pad his stats, and the Strykers cut into this lead. It is now 3-2.
One thing about Alan, he's opportunistic, hardworking, and if you find it, he's going to put it away, and that's exactly what he did. Just hard work there, finding the right, ball finding him in the right spot. So you're just against the boards again, losing the ball at your feet. You got to play that away, bounces out, and he just hits it home. Focused on the technique, just buried it. So we got a shootout, Philly.
5 goals this season for Alan Perez here in his 5th year in the Empire. Out of Los Angeles, California. Van Nuys, if you're keeping track of it. And we've had 5 goals already, and we're not even past the first quarter. That's the beauty of indoor soccer to all our new viewers and listeners, for that matter, listening on the radio.
You know, part of the change there was when Ant toe poked the ball away from Pinal, as Pinal was in front of him going out, that reverse toe poke, and it just kind of changed the flow of the game. So excellent work by the Strykers there and making them pay for it.
Manny Silva with plenty of room to operate, saved by Orozco. Manny Silva, one of 3 players out of Utica City, out of Cape Verde. And who would have thought Cape Verde would have had such a pipeline into the Major Arena Soccer League between Manny and, of course, Nilton DeAndrade. A lot of talented players on this Utica City FC team coming out of Cape Verde.
Cape Verde, that's just north of Chile Verde, huh?
Not quite, Artie. Not quite.
The dad joke had to come out once, man. At least. Follow that, Philly.
I mean, listen, I'm rarely at a loss for words, but you certainly took the wind out of my vocal sails. Let's just put it that way.
Gotta stay on your toes, bud.
Oh, yeah. Now I really have to pay some attention. And speaking of paying attention, there's Nilton DeAndrade paying attention to Justin Stinson, the Stinger, who's gone back to the bleach hair as he gets dispossessed and recovers it. Stinson rarely will get dispossessed, and there's DeAndrade, who picks Stinson's pocket.
The carpet monster got him, Philly, I think.
The carpet monster, the turf monster, the terrible turf, whatever you want to call it. Stinson showing that display of sportsmanship. Him and DeAndrade, a history being teammates, also having played with the United States indoor soccer team in many of the exhibitions that we've had. That one gets through. Wilkins' attempt over to Pinal. Pinal, that target forward. Berto Palmer on him. The back heel pass. Cleaned up by Perez into Munir Alami, who is our player of the match. We have an interview that we did with Munir Alami.
That was a great exit pass from, was that Dutra? Just the texture, the little bend to get out, and just using the pace of his teammate. Beautiful footy.
Your proverbial cliche saying of threading the needle. 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Utica City FC still leading the Empire Strykers by a score of 3-2. 5 goals within this first quarter. As Palmer, the captain of the Empire Strykers, connects in with Guatemalan international Brian Orozco. Anthony Powell, El Leon out of Texas, fighting for it. Powell also one of the Strikers' leading scorers. 6 goals on the season. Willie Spur over to Genrick. The pass into Amadi. He's got Shalier over to Genrick as he tries to tap it past Orozco. Chavez belts it into Fabian. Fabian using the wall. Amadi. Some pinball back and forth action between both teams as the Strikers come back up with it.
Both teams wanting to go with energy. That's awesome, though. You know, just a little half step away from it breaking that pressure.
Both teams hungry for that dub. Both teams come in with losing streaks. Strikers on a 2-game losing streak. Utica City on a 3-game losing streak. There's Orozco with plenty of room to operate as we are under a minute to go here in this first quarter. Hernandez. Over to Fabian. Polo to Marco. Marco over to Diaz-Gonzalez. He took away from that Marco Polo connection there. Diaz-Gonzalez, 7 goals, 3 assists this season. Perez. If you're looking at that clock set to expire, Perez is the man you need to mark, as he has scored 2 goals this season, has the game clock set to expire. Fabian over to Perez, back to Polo. Polo in that midfield, under 20 to go, defended by Shalier. Perez finds himself some space. Taken away by Alava. He still sticks with it, under 10 to go. Strikers still trying to press, still trying to fire one off. Ball is loose, Polo with 3 seconds to go. Polo fires it, and Marco finds his Polo. Polo Hernandez to the bottom right corner as the game clock was set to expire. 3-3.
A little backbreaker there for Utica, but what a fantastic finish. Strikers making a living at these last-second goals. You know, just coming in. You just saw him kind of coming in, coming across body. Just right here. You know, you got to just think, kill the game right here. Kill the half. You can't give the ball away in the middle of the park. Middle of the floor, just a little touch. Just set up touch there. Get the goalkeeper set. Boom, hit it.
Gets himself past Murshad Amadi to that bottom right corner, and the Strikers in their 3rd game this season have managed to score before the game clock expires. We're sending it to break 3-3 here live from Toyota Arena. Welcome back to Toyota Arena, folks. The officials have gone to the monitor just to see whether or not Polo Hernandez was able to beat the clock. There you see it on your screen. And yes, with 0.2 of a second left, as per the game clock on our instant replay, that looks to be a good goal. If the officials come back and declare it so, that'll be the 2nd goal of the season for Polo Hernandez. Just waiting on that official verdict here. But while we do that, Artie, let's pay some bills. But once again, just to reiterate, those armbands are going to be signed by our players, and they're going to be available for auction with the proceeds benefiting the American Heart Association. 3-3 coming into the second quarter. My name's Philly, joined by the coach Artie. It's Philly and Artie, and whether you're listening to us on TV or MASL TV or KVCR, PBS, or the radio, we want to say thank you so much for tuning in to the Major Arena Soccer League. 6 goals here in the first quarter as Gio Alves puts the ball into play, trying to connect with Junior Pinal. Pinal tried to chip it through. Orozco was there. And I'm trying to find the Pinal posse. He mentioned that he's got 15 family members coming out. He was so excited, by the way.
408 in the house.
He is beyond happy, though, playing for Utica City FC. when the Inside the Arena show comes out, you will hear him declare his love for Utica and how he wants to be there long term. As we see a challenge flag get thrown onto the turf. Coach, what are we looking at?
I'm not sure. Actually. It was head down, and in this game, you put your head down for a second, you're going to miss a lot of action. So, not really sure, but I mean, obviously, Coach Everton saw something. Maybe in the box, a deterrent on Penal to the ball. I mean, it has to be something along those lines. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense to kind of, unless he saw a power play situation.
After review, it is determined that there was too many men on Empire. It's a blue card, 2-minute power play. Utica remains the opportunity to challenge once more in the game.
So challenge flag retained by UCFC. Strykers, not the first time they've been caught with too many men on the turf.
Yeah, it's almost a chronic problem there. We've got to sort that out.
So Utica City now with the man advantage. And yes, folks, tuning in, similar to hockey, the power play is on. So in the sin bin, I believe that is Munir Alami. Alami, the Strykers' leading scorer here in his second season in the league. Isak Somo charging in on his former teammates. Going up against Gio Alves. Look at the pressure by Somo.
Very good pressure. They can't play the goalkeeper again because he's already touched it on his half.
Silva saw Perez, opted to go backwards. Silva also part of that Cape Verde contingent, along with Andrade.
So again, you saw one of the insights there, Philly. Strikers are pressing, and you had they had a front runner open on the back end. They just couldn't find him. So, it's a very delicate balancing act there with the pressure and then the ability to break the pressure by finding the target and entry pass.
That was too strong of a touch from Alves.
Just like that, that press. If they break that press, then we've got 3v2, and one of the three is Penal on the bottom board. That's a tough task.
And that kid can score. You had some comparisons to a legendary Baltimore Blast player. Want to tell us a little bit about that?
Just, when I saw him play and doing the research, it just, Stan Stamenkovic and old school Baltimore Blast, I just came to mind the way he rolls it left-footed, and it's not fair to him to say he's the next coming, but just reminiscent enough for me to watch some highlights of it last night. It was spectacular to see those guys and see those shorts again. I've got a couple pair at home.
Strykers have 30 seconds left to kill this penalty. Silva blasts it off the plexi. Alves to his left, shot. Berto and Orozco getting in the way. And Perez is going to hit the deck. It's going to be a foul called against Andrade. And with 17 seconds to go, Strykers look like they're going to successfully kill this penalty, which will put their season average above 80%. Or maybe I spoke a little too soon. As UCFC recovers it, Alava open to the right. 2 seconds. Alava over to the left. Palmer playing a little bit of keep away. The bicycle attempt. And connection has been made, and a blue card is issued. Polo Hernandez took some contact, and it looks like we've got a blue card. A smurf, as I like to call it, on the other end.
Yeah, dangerous play. I mean, that's what they're going to call.
Rashad Amadi had that bicycle kick.
Power play against Utica, number 49 for kicking.
And yes, that is confirmed. No challenge there. Amadi does make the contact. Let's see the replay there. As he was going for the hybrid scissor / bicycle kick, he does make the connection. And now the Strykers have an opportunity on the power play where they're operating at a 25% efficiency. The penalty kill for UCFC this season at 70%.
Yeah, that was a hero or zero decision there, resulting in the 0, and now they're in a numbers down situation.
And this is where the Strykers are really going to take man advantage, as Orozco will be a part of this as the super extra attacker. The Strykers now are going to legally be able to utilize 6 players offensively, although Orozco does track back. Fabian in the Mansoret. Mansoret back over to the Stinger. Stinson, who was in the race for the Golden Boot last year, along with Jorge Rios of the Chihuahua Savage, who would end up winning that award. Mansoret. Excellent defense by UCFC. DeAndrade recovers it back. Genrich gets it over the midfield. Stinson and his former teammate from the U.S. indoor side, DeAndrade, battling for it. Stinson gets the pass back from Orozco. Approaching a minute to go within this power play. Diaz-Gonzalez. Back over to Stinson. Into Alami. Alami finds Fabian. Fabian just above the crossbar.
That was a great look. Great look. Now they got Berto with the 6 attacker jersey.
Stinson. And that's going to come off of UCFC. Fabian has it. 36 seconds remaining in the power play. Fabian with space to maneuver. And Marco Fabian threads through the netting. Marco! The Magnificent puts the Strykers back up on top. It is now 4-3.
Player like Marco, he had that shot in his head before his first touch, and he just set the defender up. You can just, as we can show the replay here, so the ball links around, squirts across from Berto. Look at this. He knows what he's doing. That little fake touch and just that window. You see the space between the two players and hitting that side netting on the edge. Just, he knew. You can just watch his body language, like right here. He knows exactly what he's going to do. Little touch, little window, and that's why I am who I am.
And that's all that I am. Are you doing a Popeye promo there?
I eat my spinach.
With that power play goal by Fabian, he now is his 6th goal of the season. And with that, you get 20% off of any labor service at Perry's Place when Marco Fabian scores. So obviously that means something to you if you live in the Inland Empire. If you're at Utica City or in Utica or in the Northeast, it means nothing to you.
Another challenge bag from Coach Everton. Well, the game's busy, man. There's 7 goals, dude.
Once again, the beauty of indoor soccer.
Love it. Love it.
A little bit of history for you new viewers tuning in. Utica City FC, a team founded in 2011.
The field is a common foul against Empire. That call is being challenged by Utica for a blue card.
There you heard it. Common foul being challenged by Utica. Just to finish that thought, UCFC founded as the Syracuse Silver Knights. They joined what was then known as the MISL in the 2011-2012 season, where they finished 3rd in the Eastern Division. And then fast forward a few years later, June of 2018, they partnered with the AHL's Utica Comets and headed out to Utica, which they've had a significant presence in that upper corner of Northeast New York. And UCFC fans, some of the most passionate fans in the indoor game. You'll love to see the crowd at the Adirondack Bank Center. See the replay.
Indeed, that's a great fan base there. It's very, very difficult for a visiting team. So kind of coming in here, it's just one of these things, from behind. I mean, the biggest thing is player safety. When you're hit from behind, clearly violates that. So it's not quite as clear cut, but I mean, I can see what Coach Everton is thinking. Clearly the player's not in a position to protect himself. He's going to goal. That's probably going to play a role to it. Because at that moment he's fouled. Technically it's a 2v1 to frame. Unless I missed a player.
Everton Morera's got that keen cat-like eyesight.
Well, yeah, I mean, you just see it. Right, there you go, 2v1. You got Pinal and Berto. So again, off the front panel, and Pinal's got to tap in. So, I mean, you can make the good argument.
I don't have the stats on this, but I'd love to know how many challenge flags we've had this season in a second quarter that were successfully accomplished.
Oh, challenge.
I say that to our statistician extraordinaire, Jason Hernandez, who loves the challenge. So we'll see here at some point during this matchup whether or not we'll have some info on that. 4-3, currently your score. Empire Strykers leading at home against UCFC. Both teams eager to get back in the winning column as they're quickly approaching the halfway point of the season. Strykers now playing in their 14th game this season. UCFC in their 12th. Sounds so cliche, but every result carries extreme weight as we are standing by for the official verdict.
After review, it is determined that the foul on Empire number 24 stops a promising attack and is a 2-minute blue card power play. However, there is doubt over the control, so it is not a shootout, just a 2-minute power play.
Yeah, there you go. You know, I mean, clearly you saw it was a 2v1, 3v1 with the board. So, I mean, the referee's kind of a great call by Everton. Goodness sakes. You know what I mean? I mean, just a great look. You know, anytime your number's up going forward and you have the ball dropping to your feet, the referees really have no choice but to call that. But not a shootout, so they didn't. The foul itself wasn't really the issue. The issue was, had he not been fouled, it was a 2v1 to goal, create a significant advantage. So just got to make sure. Now for Utica, they've got to make sure that they get a quality chance off, because the Strikers did a spectacular job on the last power play.
Alves puts it into play to Pinal. Pinal right off of Dutra. And look, we've seen 3 blue cards, 3 Smurf sightings. We call it a Smurf because very few things in this world are small in blue. So with the 3 blue cards we've seen, we're already building a Smurf village here in the second quarter, as UCFC looks to draw even against the Empire Strykers. The pass over to Pinal. Pinal blasts it just above the crossbar. I reckon that it's going to get pretty loud in here if and when Pinal does score. As we mentioned, he's a California kid out of San Jose. He's got a lot of family in the area that have come down to watch him play. And he was all smiles, ear to ear, when I spoke to him early. De Andrade already an assist in this game. Silva to Pinal. Power play opportunity broken up. Mansouri tried to fire it away, but it bounced right off Alan Perez.
Trying to be a little too cheeky. I don't think Pinal expected it to come back.
Under a minute to go within this power play. Pinal with a rocket, but didn't have the precision attempt as that one comes off of the net. And goalkeeper restart. Zarosco puts it into play really quickly to Perez. Perez fires it. Lawal was open. It took too hard of a strike off of the dasher boards. Cudis back heel, but he's going to draw a foul. Lawal, as we mentioned, here in his first season with the Empire, free agent signing from the Milwaukee Wave, and he's looked good in his few matches playing for Empire. Had an outdoor career, USL, had a great high school career as well. As the restart set to be taken by the Stinger himself, Justin Stinson. Stinson blasts it, and that's going to find its way into the stands. And unfortunately for the fans, and that is our season ticket holder, Tina Hargett, who has sung the national anthem here, she can't walk away with that miter ball.
We know where she lives.
I don't know about this we thing. I don't know where she lives. I mean, why do you know where she lives? You know what? I retract my previous statement.
Definitely Philly.
Nothing I say can incriminate. As Amadi goes over to Alves. Oy, oy. Alves has Silva to his right. Pinal wide open on that bottom quarter. De Andrade on that far end. 7 seconds to go in this power play. That takes a couple of bounces. Perez cleans it up. Alves reconnects.
Oh, boy.
And he falls down. Here's an opportunity. Mansouri to Palmer. Palmer, too tough of a touch. And that was an opportunity where the Strikers could have gone up 5-3. Mansouri fed Palmer. Palmer couldn't finish. And the goal on the bottom right. And it is tied once again. Gio Alves, lucky number 7 with the equalizer. It is now 4-4.
Shootout in Toyota Arena. You know, we talk about it all the time. You know, you miss a chance and you get a chance. And that's exactly what happened, a bad giveaway. You know, I was just going to say, many teams are very vulnerable when you get that player, you know, the player comes back on, they get caught. And then here, just an unfortunate miss, little wobble on the turf. And then just a quality finish, left peg, far post, just got a shootout, man.
Alves, lucky number 7. I mention it not only because he wears number 7, but that's lucky number 7 in terms of his goals scored this season. And if this falls within a 1-goal effort, where the Strikers don't come out with the result, you'd have to look back at that opportunity, that counter between Mansouri and Palmer. Of course, still so much more action to be had, but you see how quickly that UCFC were able to capitalize on a missed opportunity for the Empire Strykers. It could have been 5-3 just as easily as it now is 4-4.
Yeah, Utica's having some trouble with the press. You know, they got to look for that early entry pass, and they can catch them. They had him 2v1 right here, and he just kept the ball. Better score.
Silva, look at the defense by Chavez, and an excellent bit of defending by Polo.
Very good cover by Polo.
Orozco's got to buy dinner for his teammates. They bailed him out of trouble there. Genrick, who scored the opener for UCFC, that's going to come off of Polo. That's going to be a top-of-the-arc restart here for UCFC with 7:16 remaining. But that's going to send us to immediate timeout. Folks, we've seen 8 goals in a quarter and a half. It is 4-4. It's been wall-to-wall action. If you are not enjoying this kind of a contest, then I have to say you don't have a pulse. We are going to head to a commercial break, and when we come back, we got the second part of the second quarter here, live under the bright lights of Toyota Arena. It's the Major Arena Soccer League. Empire Strykers, Utica City FC, 4-4. Back with more action. We'll see you on the other side of this break. From Toyota Arena, where that top of the arc restart was denied by the Empire Strykers. 4-1 here. My name's Philly, joined by the coach, Artie. Pinal comes up with it, threads it in to Alves, and Alves is going to go down, and that's going to be a foul issued to his former teammate, Isak Somo.
That was a good little touch there. I mean, he was pulling that foul right on his touch. He knew he was going to get that.
Alves here in his 4th year in the MASL in Utica City. He's the Rhode Island Gatorade Player of the Year in high school as that attempt sails into the stratosphere. I mean, I thought we were high up there. I mean, we saw that practically eye level with the ricochet it took.
We saw the panels up and close.
A little more on Alves. We mentioned Rhode Island High School Gatorade Player of the Year. Also featured with the New England Revolutions Academy as Silva's shot goes into the netting. As part of that U18 for the New England Rev, Alves was the leading scorer on that team. So very impressive stuff by Gio Alves. 22 goals, 34 assists, 56 points. We'll make that 57 points now in 63 games played. Alava with a lot of room to maneuver. That comes off of the Empire Dasher board. Look at the way it danced along the boards. Juan Alava. Pinal steps on it. The pass. Look at the ball movement. Another opportunity, and that takes the wrong end of a slice. Belliard missed that opportunity. Belliard, who scored a goal, recipient of the pass from Pinal. Orozco. That one gets recovered by Santos.
Pinal reminds me of another 408 player that I coached back in the day, Enrique Keeks Tovar. Little puppet master with the ball as well. Maybe it's that way in the 408.
Keeks, former assistant coach. You were on the coaching staff with him under Jimmy Nordberg, weren't you?
Keeks, yeah. I coached Keeks at the senior amateur level for a national championship and in the USL.
I've known you for years, and yet every broadcast I discover something new. Fabian turns and fires, just misses. Might have caught Wilkin there. Amadi. Hernandez pokes it back to Orozco. That takes a heck of a bounce. Hernandez and Amadi battling in on that side. Ali. Pass comes in. Look at the back heel. Mansoure sprinting in. Bodied off of the ball by De Andrade. And Nilton, in his first game back, has had a serious impact both offensively and defensively tonight.
Just saw that little lean when Mansoure was on his opposite step, just kind of nudged him off the ball. That was textbook shoulder to shoulder. You always want to push on a guy when he's on his inside foot because then he doesn't have the balance to catch himself. So he had caught him on the lean. What an excellent teaching tool right there.
Stevens to Genrick, over to Silva. Spur is requesting it right around the midfield. Pressured by Hernandez. Sees Perez, goes back over to Alves. Wilkin out of his box, advances towards the midfield. He's going to be a focal part of the attack, and he was wide open on that left side as Dutra closes in the gap, denying Pinal of the pass. Spur over to Amadi, who had been calling for it for seconds. seeing UCFC spreading the Strykers defense. Pinal with Dutra, 2 youngsters of the indoor game, 2 up-and-coming all-stars. Pinal with the turnaround. Orozco gets his hand and his boot on it. That was a close call.
Yeah, Pinal didn't get a good hit on it. I think he might be pressing just a little bit for the fans. I think second half he's probably going to settle down a little bit.
We know he's excited, coming back to California, back in front of family. Rashad Ahmadi out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, second year with UCFC. Played with the Wichita Wings. He was a M2 second team All-Star and 5th in the M2 and scoring with 25 goals during the 23-24 season. He's finding his legs here in M1. Looking around, looking for options. UCFC playing a little keep away. Dutra in his first season with the Empire. That one had the potential to be a superstructure violation, which was coined by my former broadcast partner, Jonathan Reimer. That superstructure violation means if it hits the scoreboard, it's obviously a dead ball. Genrick to his left. Belliard dancing on it out of Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic, here in his 3rd season in the MASL. Talk about another player with futsal experience. It's with the DR's national futsal team. Silva. And Dutra was goading him. A little bit of trash talk between Dutra and Silva. You like to see that. Players fired up, chirping with one another. Friends off the turf, enemies on it. Shalir wearing the number 99, a number reserved for great ones. And he's had a great season. 10 goals, 3 assists coming into tonight. Shalir also very young within his career playing indoor. 2nd year in the MASL. Under 2 minutes remaining here in the half. Zalava muscles Alami. Lava out of Ecuador here in his 1st season. That one comes out into the UCFC bench. Says right here that Alava, 2-time All-American in Nassau Community College. Nassau Community College in Long Island, Hempstead, New York, right down the road from Hofstra University. And at one point, the Nassau Coliseum, which was the former home of the New York Islanders. Diaz-Gonzalez putting defenders on skates as Wilkin comes in. Pinal with the touch. Pinal, Junior over to Alves. Alves into Silva. Under 90 ticks of the game clock here in the half. Excellent defense by Somo on Silva as DeAndrade goes back to the midfield. Pass goes in to Stevens. Cole Stevens out of Milwaukee. Played collegially at Eastern Illinois. Recovers the touch from Mansoure. Goes back over to Alves. 66 seconds remaining. That one gets sliced by UCFC. Under a minute to go. Strykers successfully closed out the first quarter with a goal. Can they do it again? Diaz-Gonzalez with Fabian open. He gets dispossessed as Pinal and UCFC have some numbers on the counter. The pass into the left. The cheeky chip. An excellent cheeky chip as Nilton DeAndrade in his return game in the MASL this season collects his first goal of the season and puts UCFC up by a score of 5-4.
I mean, look at Pinal's vision. Just, you know, as they come and create an advantage. So anytime your number's up, you want to commit that defender to create that isolation, and that's exactly what he did. Brian defending the bottom half and just a cheeky quality finish. That's a tough order for the goalkeeper to save. But again, Pinal's patience to commit Berto. You saw Berto just trying to force the play one way so that Brian would take the second attacker, and as it played out, it was a spectacular finish. But if Pinal plays that ball too early, then that situation goes away. So it was very effective execution of a numbers up attack.
Will the Strykers find an answer before we close out the quarter? As Orozco's shot saved by Wilkin. Orozco's going to quickly sprint back. Spur. Belted by Berto into the net. Goalkeeper restart for Wilkin. 21.6 seconds remaining here in the half as the epic song of the 90s, Zombie Nation, invades your auditory canal here in Toyota Arena. I love that song, by the way. As Spur tries to connect with Shalier. Shalier and Berto battling close to the box. Chavez tries to find Stinson. The Stinger with a little room to maneuver. Look at him go, finding some space. He fires it oh so close. As the game clock expires, the Strykers were oh so close at finding the equalizer. Stinson creatively found the space, just couldn't punch it through. And that's the horn. Get the latest news on the MASL and your favorite teams by following MASL Soccer on Facebook and Instagram and MASL Arena on Twitter.
MGR Real Estate and MGR Property Management, Southern California's largest independent family-owned real estate company, providing commercial sales and leasing, residential sales and leasing, residential and commercial property management, and homeowner association management. MGR Real Estate Services, the proud sponsor of the Empire Strykers. We would like to thank our official hotel sponsor, Ontario Airport Hotel and Conference Center, a Hyatt affiliate hotel, conveniently located just 2 miles from the Ontario International Airport and 4 miles from the Ontario Convention Center.
And welcome back, folks. Seconds away from being underway here in the third quarter as Utica City FC leads the Empire Strykers by a score of 5-4. My name's Philly, alongside the coach, Artie Kyrell. The first half dominated by UCFC, 16 shots to the Empire's 10, 5-4, and Nilton DeAndrade with a goal and an assist. Junior Pinal, 2 assists. They have really been the key contributors to this UCFC attack here in the first 30 minutes.
Just making them pay for some mistakes. They've had much of the play, but the Strykers, to their credit, have come back. You know, they've had answers, they've had responses. So this next goal, we say it all the time, but this next goal is going to be critical, especially for the Strykers.
And there we see them pressing high for the Empire Strykers. It was Abdul Mansour, who, by the way, has had 5 points in his last 2 games with 3 goals and 2 assists. Pass into Alves. Look at the save by Orozco. Orozco denies Alves. Alves had an annihilator of an attempt, and Orozco says, I don't think so.
Great ball from Willie, just textured ball over the top. Just excellent technique from both players to create that chance.
Alves on the restart, over to Spur. Alves shoots it off the bottom right, left, depending on what side of the screen we're looking at here. Spur in the midfield. See Palmer in there defensively. And there's an attempt that gets sailed into the rafters by Tavares. And speaking of Berto, as of right now, the 3 blocked shots that he had in the first half gives him 420 career blocks. And if your name is Chad Vandergriff, you've got 419. We've got a race for most blocked shots. Chad Vandergriff, of course, of the Kansas City Comets. Berto Palmer, his former teammate, 2 MASL Defenders of the Year. Palmer, one of the toughest defenders. Fabian's attempt, and look at the kick save by Wilkin.
A hip pin.
There he is being pressured, but off the wall. Berto. There's a battle between Genrich and Powell. And that foul is assessed to the Lion himself, El Leon, on the restart. All the space in the world for Belliard as Lawal steps in defensively. Dutra chests it over to Palmer. Palmer into the sky. Stevens with the touch. The pass over to Amadi.
Utica's doing a very good job, breaking the lines and finding the gaps to get forward, breaking the press.
That one sails above the official as it comes right over to Orozco, who moments ago had his save of the game.
That was a great save.
Steven Chavez went towards that midfield, saw Nilton DeAndrade and thought otherwise. Orozco hits it off and into Mansour, but we've got a whistle.
That's 2 fouls on Brian already this game, right? I mean, they're sending a message here for him. And Utica's pressing just a little bit higher on that last sequence.
The Strykers like to utilize multiple keepers. It's Clayson DeLima, who is the backup today in lieu of Brandon Gomez. Noah Bassi has an embarrassment of riches as far as goalkeepers are concerned. Somo over to Stinson. Stinson was calling for it for quite some time. Stinson trying to find his way offensively in as Orozco is the recipient of the pass, and Brian Orozco finds the net. Turf to Twine, and the Strikers find their equalizer. It is now 5-5.
You saw Utica got stacked on the change. Little overcommitment in the right channel, and they just did the ball coming across to Brian right in the sweet spot and just cracked it home. So you can see right here where they get stacked, Pinal just kind of stuck there. Nobody bounced out, touch, hit. I mean, that's what he does. I mean, that's their warm-up right there, So, good hit, great goal, great response, game on.
Bad boy Brian with his 3rd goal of the season. Leading all keepers in that statistical category. He's up there when it comes to the goals against average and the save percentage. But Brian Orozco scores goals with the best of them in this league. Somo gets by the defense, finds Lawal. He creates some space, but look at the defense, the denial. Incredible defense by UCFC. I was certain that was a goal, but Santos says no. Santos out of Brazil. He too a futsal background, rookie in this league, who came in with 2 goals and 6 assists, now in his 11th game played. Shalir against Dutra. Cuba versus Brazil. That's going to be a foul assessed to number 99.
Interesting call there.
10 goals in this contest. Look at the defense. Amati and Orozco. Spur it. And denied by Polo Hernandez. Strikers are playing with fire right there. Your live by the sword, die by the sword moments, but between Orozco and Polo, exquisite defense by the Empire, denying UCFC what could have been the go-ahead goal.
That's twice for Polo. Just great understanding when the goalkeeper's committed to drop in. Excellent work by him.
Pass over to Amati. Amati, who nearly created a highlight reel moment for himself. Takes it away from Diaz-Gonzalez. Diaz-Gonzalez bats it off of Stevens. Over to Fabian. Fabian has Alami wide open. Taken away by Genrick. Pass into Spur. Spur assessing his options. Goes over to Silva. Catches it right back. The long ball into Toy Tavares, who smashes it off the boards. Back and forth action we have. Silva, Lawal, and Perez comes up with it. Alami, the Moroccan international, threads it through, but picked up by Gio Alves.
This is where Strikers have to do a little bit better, keeping that ball on the exit. They had a chance to keep it, and they didn't, forced it. And Utica's been able to kind of reestablish their rhythm.
Palmer over to Alami. Strikers in on the counter. Somo wide open to the left. Somo's got Berto inside the box. That one gets denied by Alves. Ali, Somo. And just to stop on any of the confusion, being that we have 2 Somo brothers on the turf, we will from here on out refer to number 99 as Ali. Number 24 is his brother Isak. There is Isak over to Ali. Being pressured on the ball by Tavares. The pass in to Stinson. Stinson, who comes into today with 6 goals and 5 assists. At over 30 last season. Last year was Stinson's best year in the MASL. One of the most exciting players here in the Major Arena Soccer League out of St. Charles, Missouri, who, along with his teammate Berto Palmer, created some incredible moments in their career here in the Inland Empire, here in Ontario, California. Alami, back over to Stinson. Strikers have some time now to set themselves up offensively. Orozco outside of his box. Ali uses the wall to get past Toy. Palmer, and that's going to be a foul. Whistle blown. assessed to UCFC. And some extracurricular activity between Brian Wilkin and Robert Palmer. Didn't see exactly what happened there, but Wilkin fell down, and I know Palmer's chirping back.
Berto wanted the ball. Berto didn't get the ball. Wilkin kicked the ball away, got a delay of game, and Berto gave him a little love tap.
Berto is competitive as it gets, 12-year pro out of Kingston, Jamaica. Defender of the Week to start off the MASL season. As we mentioned, multiple Defender of the Year awards, MASL First Team and Elite Six, and a Park University Hall of Famer. Doesn't get much tougher in this league than Robert Palmer. On the restart, Diaz-Gonzalez into the stinger. Stinson fires, and it takes a bounce, and the Stinson Stinginator threads through his 7th goal of the season, and the Strykers go up 6-5.
Great finish from Justin. Again, just moving the ball simple. Little roll, no wobbles, and able to hit it clean. Little delay. One touch, little deflection, we'll take it.
You mentioned the Ontario Airport Hotel, Artie. There's a drink there named after Stinson. I believe it is called Stinson Fizz. And if the Strykers can come out of this game with a dub, people will be raising that glass high in the air.
Well, great response for Coach Obasi's side in the second half. See if they can keep the pressure on. Again, we talked about the travel earlier.
Wilkin blasts it, trying to harness in his inner Orozco. Although Wilkin stands tall himself in terms of being a goal scorer this season. Did score against Tacoma a couple of games ago. And Utica finds themselves in a familiar territory, down by 1 after holding on to the lead. This is a team that has had the lead in so many contests, lost by 1 in 4 contests. Just looking to get off the schneid. 3-game losing streak. Strykers with a 2-game losing streak. 2 teams incredibly hungry for a win. Teams on the outside of the playoff party line trying to find their way in. UCFC 5 points behind the Strykers, but with 2 games in hand. Stevens, that one gets through, and it scores! Orozco lost track of it, and it's either Stevens or Pinal that's going to get the credit for it. And as the Strykers go up, only minutes and seconds transpire as Utica finds the equalizer. Let's get a better look as to who's going to get credit for the goal. There's Stevens. He fires it off of the wall. Orozco loses track of it, and that's going to come off of Pinal. And that's going to send us to immediate timeout. Pinal with his 3rd point of the game and the equalizer as we step into a break. Is your home for everything Major Arena Soccer League. All the latest news, leaderboards, highlights, and more.
Join the Hope Through Housing Foundation, empowering children and families in the Inland Empire and beyond through after-school programs and financial coaching. To learn more and see how Hope is making a difference, visit hopethroughhousing.org. San Antonio Regional Hospital is a proud sponsor of the Empire Strykers, keeping our community strong, healthy, and active for over 115 years. San Antonio Regional Hospital, here for life.
Speaking of San Antonio Regional Hospital, with the excitement of this game and my heart palpitating, I hope I don't have to pay them a visit later on today. Artie, no Pinal, no party. Got himself a goal, had 2 assists in the first half, 3 points in front of 15 of his family and friends. He's having an incredible game, and he's had a huge impact today as the score is 6-6.
Good for him, just being a footballer. You know, you expected it to come off his left foot, and it wasn't exactly his left foot that got him the goal, but goal nonetheless.
And, of course, that was created by an incredible attack by UCFC in the box.
Yeah, just Brian got wrong-footed and scrambled off the boards and just couldn't locate the ball.
Yeah, he lost track of that. Coming off the heels of having scored a goal himself. But what a shootout we've had here. 12 goals between the 2 teams, and Orozco puts it off the United Chiropractic Health Center dasher board. Shout out to drfantasia.com. Diaz-Gonzalez against Shalier. 2 members of the Cuban national futsal team. Not something you see every day. Manuel Belliard over to Wilkin. And Shalier is going to get called for the foul on his fellow countryman, Diaz-Gonzalez. The restart. Fabian tried to blast it. Alava over to Silva.
Great recovery by the Strykers.
Could have been a 2-on-2. Instead, it turned into a 2-on-4. Powell hits the deck. The pass into Alves. Alves, look at the save by Orozco, atoning for the sin of the goal from moments ago. The pass in. DeAndrade, the header, and another goal. UCFC score once again. Take a bow. Number 31, Alava. And we hear some poultry in the stands. The Boo Birds are out as UCFC regains control of the lead, 7-6.
This ill-advised nutmeg attempt by Marco. Wallace scorer, there it is, just being reacting. Berto was caught in between attacking the ball and heading the ball and just got caught. Again, you know, both teams are making each other pay for these mistakes. Great for the fans, tough for the coaches.
Tough for the broadcasters, too. All these goal calls here as Alava scores his 4th goal of the season, his 6th point. UCFC up 7-6.
I'm telling you, we would try to write stuff down. We missed stuff.
13 goals, and we're not even past the 3rd quarter. This is a high-scoring game. And yes, it's going to sound like a cliche at this point. A shootout, no question. Stinson against Genrick. 2 players who have scored today. Stinson over to Polo, who's also scored today. It's one of those you get a goal kind of games. Over to Ali, who trained with UCFC. And apparently there's another Somo brother that's been training with Utica City FC. The talent that comes out of that lineage has been very impressive.
Double touch by the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper can only touch the ball 1 time per sequence on the defending half. If he touches it twice in this case, they're calling. I'm sure Brian thought that the ball was nicked by the defender. Referee had something different to say. Free kick for Utica.
And just a couple of errant turnovers by the Strykers have led to opportunities for UCFC. Can they punish the Strykers again? Alava over to Silva. Silva to Belliard. Belliard to Cole Stevens, who was involved in the goal by Pinal. Perez, he too has a goal today. Stinson over to Dutra. A cheeky backheel pass off the wall from Hernandez trying to find Stinson. Leads to a foul on the turf. 4:34 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. UCFC leads the Empire 7-6. Crucial game for both teams. UCFC looking to break through a 3-game losing streak. Strykers looking to break through it too. Both these teams are positioned 7th and 8th in the MASL table, with only the top 6 advancing to the playoffs. Every game carrying weight at this point. UCFC a couple games in hand. They played the least amount of games out of any team in the Major Arena Soccer League this season.
Strykers had him tilted again. Unfortunately, they didn't move the ball quick enough in that case.
Palmer with Pinal in front of him finds Diaz-Gonzalez over to Perez. Perez over to Alami. Alami to Perez, and Alan Perez for the 2nd time threads through turf to twine the equalizer. 7-7.
Just playing into the target and combining into it. Great sequence for the Strykers. Excellent finish, workmanlike goal from Alan Perez. Nothing better than what he does. Look, it just continues, gets lost in the shuffle again. They got tilted. I mean, I literally just said it, that they were tilted, didn't make them pay. There you saw a box of 4 with no one tracking, and Alan just says, doopity-doop. Thank you very much.
Perez now with 6 goals on the season. Had 9 goals last year, 9 goals the season prior. But he has been lighting up the lamps, and another attempt and a goal. A quick answer by UCFC. The goals that keep on a-coming. It is now 8-7 Utica City.
Oh my goodness. You just cannot lose the ball at your feet. Cannot lose the ball at your feet. A little toe poke forward and he's out. Instead, those long legs just come in. Brian's caught, stuck, just slotted it home. You know, when in games like this, man, you gotta play the percentages. You gotta play safe, right? I mean, everyone's kind of countering and going. If he just lifts it 3 feet in the air over the defender's feet. It's rolling to the off official, and they can reload and readjust. You know, it's young mistakes.
Amadi gets his 5th goal of the season. And he, like Bugs Bunny once said, he knew he should have taken that left point at Albuquerque. And I say it that way because Amadi's from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Little homage to my buddy Mike Haas. Happy birthday to you, Mikey, or Hussey. You know, he played the MISL with Colorado. His thing was always, you know, he had a coach who would bang his ring on the floor, on the boards, and just say, you know, lose the ball going forward. Lose the ball going forward. And Strykers need to heed that advice.
Just such a gutsy performance by Utica City FC. Have plenty of things working against them, the travel, the 3-hour jet lag, but Empire took the first lead of the game, and it really has been back and forth. This is turning out to be an instant classic this season, as both teams hungry for the dub. Dub City hasn't necessarily been that here in Empire this season. Same can be said for Utica City FC. But in a league this season with only 8 teams, so many talented teams, and I will go on the record by saying these 2 teams are far more talented than their records indicate. And they are showing us just the level of talent and skill as Orozco shoots it. That was close. And that's going to be a foul on Pinal. 2:19 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
I think it was a handball on Marco.
Oh, I heard that there was wrong 33. Sorry about that, folks. I was already feeling froggy enough to jump to Capelli, which is the official and exclusive preferred uniform and apparel provider of the Major Arena Soccer League. Silva and Lawal. Cudis over to Dutra. Dutra into Mansoret. Look at the skill and the touch on Mansoret as he crosses that yellow line. And Lawal, not enough tapatio on the pass off the wall, looking for a Wallace scorer. For those who don't understand, that's a lexicon. If it comes off the wall and that's a one-timer, the wall can be your friend in a lot of cases here in the indoor game. Amadi gets by Powell, finds Pinal. Pinal, look at the save by Orozco as he dives on it as if his life depended on it. And one can say that it does, as the Strykers are here on the counter. Powell gets pushed off by Alves. Spur to Amadi. 1:17 remaining here in this 3rd quarter. Spur.
Great save by Brian, Philly. I mean, 15 goals, but I can't think of one of the goals where the goalkeeper had a howler and it was just their error. You know what I mean? They both have played well. I mean, it's difficult to say when you've given up 15 goals in the game, but
I mean, the amount of shots that a goalkeeper faces in the MASL, that could be in a game. Diaz's shot saved by Wilkin. What I was trying to get at is the amount of shots a goalkeeper will see in an indoor game be the same amount a keeper would probably see throughout the duration of his season. The pass to Belliard. Ding dong, ring-a-ling-a-lings it off the crossbar. Hernandez gets tripped up by Alves. The official's going to blow the whistle. 38.1 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Can lightning strike again for the Empire here in Toyota Arena as they look for the equalizer? They look for the tie. UCFC currently in the advantage, 8-7. Ball comes in from Berto to Orozco. Finds Fabian. And that's going to go right into the public address announcer's box. 25.1 seconds remaining.
little even Steven on that goal. Philly, right? Berto missed a simple chance on there, and now Utica pays him back. So even Steven, little Jerry Seinfeld.
I was going to say, I'm not entirely sure who Steven is, but thank you for the clarification. Wilking off the wall to Tavares. Less than 10 seconds remaining. Alves. Perez gets in the way as DeAndrade was clear and found some space. That's going to come back to Wilkin. And what a performance by both teams. As we came out of the half, it has been another shootout here in the third quarter. UCFC had an answer for every Empire goal, and they go into the final quarter leading the home team by a score of 8-7. Disagree with a call tonight? You might just see it on the MASL's most controversial show, Under Review with Phil Levanco. There's that man again. And MASL head referee Ryan Sigich. Catch it every Friday on YouTube. In a cardiac emergency, every minute counts. Visit heart.org to learn what you can help become part of a nation of lifesavers.
Strykers fans, don't miss out on this season's Collector Strykers Passport. You can purchase your passport online and start collecting stamps and autographs. Don't wait. Get your Collection Strykers Passport today. Soccer in 60 is your go-to source for pro soccer in Greater LA. For all things LAFC, LA Galaxy, Angel City, Orange County SC, and Empire Strykers, tune in live every Thursday at 4 p.m. on KMET 1490 AM, at 6 p.m. on Fox Sports 1270 AM, or anytime on the Empire Strykers YouTube or your favorite podcast player. Just search for Soccer in 60. Stay connected with the Empire Strykers all season long by downloading the official Empire Strykers app. From score and schedules to ticket and team updates, it's the easiest way to stay in the game. So don't wait. Download the Empire Strykers app now by scanning the QR code and never miss a moment of the action.
Folks, that was a lot of reads, and we had a lot of goals in the third quarter. 6 to be exact, and once again, UCFC led the way in terms of shots, 7 to the Empire 6, and 3 goals for each team. The lighting of the lamp has been a consistent story today, and we've seen some incredible moments and some incredible goals. And once again, Nilton DeAndrade adds so much to this UCFC team. Not traveling with the legendary Gordy Gerson, Nilton DeAndrade makes his return to this season. In his first game, he has put a dent in the Empire Strykers backline tonight.
Good ball movement, be patient. You know, just one goal down. Next goal, again, say it many times. Next goal is very critical.
I mean, we've seen so many goals in this game. I mean, both teams just battling so closely. And normally this season, it's been the Empire that has led in terms of shots.
You know, we talked about the travel to Philly. You know, the Utica got tilted quite a few times there in the third period. So interesting to see if they keep composed or if they continue to get tilted. If they do, the Strykers have a very good chance to catch them early.
Look at the attempt by Alves trying to catch Orozco outside of his box. We've seen goals from that distance in the past. Ali over to Chavez.
That's the Venus flytrap, though, on this. You know, you take that half-hearted chance. All it is a simple giveaway, and Brian's about to hit it.
He finds Fabian open. Fabian chips it. Kick saved by Wilkin. Mansoure has it. Another save. Diaz-Gonzalez, and Fabian denied once again by Wilkin.
Great goalkeeping. You know, tough to say in a 15-goal game, but, you know, Orozco pulled a save off over there. Wicked save. And now Wilkin with 2 off of a pretty good player named Marco Fabian.
Wilkin the Wicked, that's a good nickname for him, the way he's been denying the Empire here in his 6th season in the MASL. Started out with the Rochester Lancers. Played collegiately at Nazareth College, where he had a spot 8-6. And look at the goal, the equalizer. Diaz Gonzalez, as he's done time and time and time and time. You get the gist, scores. It is now 8-8.
Again, catching him on the change, got a little tilted, and you know, Walter able to kind of just put it on his left peg. That's where the kid makes his money.
What a talent he has been. Last season, only in 3 games played, had 3 goals. This season, Walter Diaz Gonzalez is on fire. His 8th goal of the campaign, his 11th point of the season in 11 games, averaging a point a game. Out of Cuba, the pass into Amadi, almost with a quick answer, as UCFC has done time and time again. 16 goals, Artie. 16 goals, 16 goal calls. It's a wonder that either of us have a voice.
That's just amazing, amazing. You know, very fortunate for the Strykers there, because they got a little caught and they had Tavares on the back stick for a tap in. So back and forth, back and forth. Here we go.
Where they stop, nobody knows. I'd love to know what the over and under would have been on this game. We've seen some high-scoring games between these two teams.
Etc., etc.
The pass in. Dutra backs it into Orozco. Tries to find Alami. There's DeAndrade, who in my opinion, the MVP of this game for Utica City FC.
He's done very well, very impactful. His technique is just superb.
One could only imagine how much more difficult and tough UCFC would have been had D'Andrade been there in the beginning of the season.
Well, no Gordy today. Hope he's healthy. But at the end, you know, it's going to come. There's another tight game for Utica. You know, they got to fight those demons. Got to finish this game.
Well, he's been plagued for a good part of the season. I mean, you watch that game against Milwaukee where he scored the goal and did his goal celebration. He grimaced in pain. Still came back on there. I mean, the adrenaline would have kept him going, but not sure if it's his ankle or whatever. He did not make the trip. Would have loved to have seen Gordy Gerson. Quite the personality and the all-time leading scorer in the history of Cedar Rapids and, of course, the Orlando Seawolves.
Indeed.
Somo with the touch. Hernandez into Chavez. So many players have contributed offensively today as the Strikers trying to connect with their talisman, Marco Fabian.
I'd be curious what the number is, but Marcos seems to be carried more shifts this game.
6 goals this season as a result of the one that he scored in the first half. Fabian gets a direct pass, tries to catch Wilkin, and that bounces off of Wilkin's gloves too. Fabian nearly had a goal of the month attempt there. Spurs got Shalier on the right. Shalier tries to walla it, but that's going to come off of Ali. That's going to be a top-of-the-arc restart here with 10:40 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Just did you see, Marco, we talk about soccer IQ all the time in his transition, but soccer IQ right there, he just took his time, relied on his technique, didn't force it, versus the giveaway earlier from Utica.
Shot, and that one gets blasted into the netting. Goalkeeper restart. Look, Artie, you and I think can agree that we've seen a lot of incredibly talented players make the transition from outdoor to indoor. We saw Jermaine Jones play for the Ontario Fury. We saw Landon Donovan play for the San Diego Sockers. But I don't think any outdoor players made that transition better than Marco Fabian has.
He's committed 100%. You know, I mean, not that the other players weren't committed, but clearly, I mean, he's just done so much for this team on and off the field.
Spur bats it. Shalier with the goal and the go-ahead. 9-8, Utica City FC. Are you kidding me? Just look at the pass from Willie Spur into Shalier. Barbaro the Barbarian, shell-shocking Shalier, absolutely silences the crowd here in Toyota Arena. 9-8. This is the highest scoring game we've called in quite some time, in a near turnover that could have been detrimental. Pinal bodies Orozco. The chip, oh so close to being a highlight. Palmer getting in the way again, Rick. Into Diaz-Gonzalez, who scored the last goal for the Strikers, finds himself in a UCFC sandwich. Alaba, that one took a funny hit off the wall. No goal there as it hit the net.
I think Walter had Powell on the exit there had he got a chance to hit it. But we just saw the execution of the theory of inertia there with the running into Pinal.
The theory of inertia. I mean, you got your master's degree. Did you write a paper on the theory of inertia? That sounds very academic.
Yeah, something in motion shall remain in motion until met with an equal or greater force.
Well, all right. I didn't realize that you had the background in science that you do. I mean, wait, hold on. Didn't you do kinesiology back in the day, or am I thinking
something else? You know, my friend,
else?
I have a master's degree with the emphasis in sports management to back my political science degree, and sensory motor skill acquisition, which is the acquisition of motor skills and the underlying psychological influences. Shout out to Dr. Dano to help me in the coach. Oh, here we go.
I was going to say, como say what? As the pass comes into Mansoret. Ball is loose. Ali off the Omnitrans dasher. Perez to Fabian. Fabian with the touch. Another attempt and 2 blocked shots by UCFC. Ali Somo getting involved in things. He's going to look to be the recipient of the pass from Alan Perez. Artie, the longer I get to know you, the more I'm impressed by a political science major as well. So what you're saying is once the broadcasting and coaching career is done, you too are going to run for public office.
I can run for president in today's times, even with my checkered past.
I'll I'm going to refrain from any other comments. I guess the better question would be, if you were running for political office, would it be for Ontario, Rancho? So many incredible cities here, but you'd have to represent the Inland Empire. The most underrepresented region of this part of Southern California, which is why the Empire Strykers utilize the name Empire instead of the Ontario Fury, wanting to encompass the entirety of the Inland Empire, which is a huge region here, just outside of the LA area. Ontario, about 50 or so miles away from downtown Los Angeles, which in terms of driving traffic can mean 6 hours. Pinal, no party. Over to Genrick. Halfway through the fourth quarter, Pinal with 2 assists and a goal. Him along with Milton DeAndrade, and of course Willie Spur, who's got a goal, as does Mershad Ahmadi. Gio Alves too. Space opening. That one, another attempt, saved by Orozco. Shalier. I mean, I'm looking down at that Utica lineup. Who hasn't scored? Chavez and Ahmadi kicks it all the way back to Albuquerque, New Mexico with that attempt, as that's going to send us to our final media timeout of the night. Utica City FC has had an answer against the Empire Strykers time and time again, and they're hanging on to this lead, hanging on by a thread with the way this game is going. 9-8 the score.
What a beautiful soul. I can't let it go. Beautiful soul roll from Andrade there on the setup. Just excellent footy. Love it. Just what a great exhibition of attacking football.
Two hungry teams looking to satiate those hunger pangs with a dub tonight. Back on the other side of this break, you're watching the MASL on MASL TV.
By shopping the official Empire Strykers team store, from jerseys and hats to the latest team gear, everything you need to represent your favorite team is now available. Visit the team store online and gear up for the rest of the season. Stay connected with the Empire Strykers all season long by following the team on social media. Get the latest news, behind-the-scenes content, highlights, and updates all in one place. Follow the Empire Strykers on social media and stay part of the action. Please join us on Monday, February 16th at 6:35 p.m. as the Empire Strykers face the Milwaukee Wave here at Toyota Arena.
Gosh, you've already moved on to the next game. We still got 7 minutes and 10 seconds remaining of this one. Shalier leading the charge on the counter. Had Willie Spur open moments ago. Shalier scored the last goal here. Walter Diaz-Gonzalez scored prior to that, with Brian Orozco getting the assist. For Orozco, that's his second career multi-point game. Had 2 assists in a game against San Diego back on November the 28th. Orozco off the wall to Palmer. Palmer tries to find Alami. Closed out defense by Toy Tavares. Look at the speed by Ali Somo. Strykers are looking for Tarjeta Azul, and the blue card is assessed.
Yeah, he just killed a goal-scoring chance. I mean, that was a tough one. That he had no chance to catch him.
Utica number 30 stopping a promising attack.
That's going to go against Juan Alava. Strykers now in the position for a power play.
I mean, he had no chance. I mean, he had to fully commit here to get it, because I mean, if you're on the recovery, he's going 1v1. That's a tough, and speed was gonna prevail. So, you know, you gamble, and sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. That time he didn't.
So Brian Orozco's going to head to the bench. Coming back on, we see Robert Palmer putting on that 6th attacker jersey, and Orozco's going to head on over to the Pine Pony in a few moments, where the Strykers are going to utilize that super extra attacker, trying to find the equalizer. Diaz-Gonzalez, who scored today, he's contributed offensively, as has the Stinger. Strykers looking for a goal out of Munir Alami. He does have an assist today. Fabian into Mansoure. Mansoure got the Strykers going in the early moments of this game. And that's going to be a foul against the Strykers on Mansoure.
Abdul's got to keep moving the ball there. Got caught. Thankfully, there was a foul for the Strykers, because they were going to be numbers down on a counter, even though they're on the power play.
Mansoure not only played soccer in college in the United States, also competed in track in Wilmington University.
Got a 3-line pass, Philly.
Explain that one to the newbies tuning in tonight.
So there's 3 lines. You've got the yellow line, the white, the mid line, and then the attacking yellow line. If the ball passes from the defending third beyond the attacking third yellow line, it's a free kick from the top of the yellow.
So what you're saying is that's indoor soccer's version of icing?
Indeed, sir.
Hockey reference there. The pass into Fabian. Saved by Wilkin. Another attempt by Fabian. Too spicy by Marco.
Bro, you could hear that up here, the way he hit that first one. It was crazy. All this crowd, and Marco's hit of the ball is still echoed up here.
I mean, I thought he was going to knock the stitch out of that miter. Under 6 remaining. We've had ourselves a classic here on this Thirsty Thursday. Which team will celebrate their happy hour? Thus far, it's Utica City FC looking to break that 3-game losing streak. Can the Strikers find an answer? Still so much time to be had. Alami, as he fights against Toy Tavares, into Diaz-Gonzalez. Fabian has it. Orozco's going to head to the bench. Palmer is in. The extra attacker with under a minute remaining here this power play. Stinson's attempt. That one clanks off the boards. Into Fabian. Fabian finds his captain. Palmer back over to the Stinger. Stinson thought about teeing it up. Over to Marco. Marco with 1 goal already today. Goes back to Stinson, trying to spread things out. Palmer, who finds Mansoret, tries to thread it through. Alves gets in the way. And that one takes a couple of ding-dongs off a few players. Under 30 seconds remaining in this power play. UCFC looking for the penalty kill. The Strikers do have a power play goal today. Fabian. The shot, another save by Wilkin the Wicked. 15 to go in this power play. Pass into Stinson. Stinson's going to tee up off of Alves. UCFC standing tall. Stinson chips it into the air. Chested by Alves. Into Tavares. He's got DeAndrade. UCFC successfully kills this penalty. The penalty kill line of UCFC took care of business, but Fabian has Alami with space. And a goal! Marco! With the goal! The equalizer, 9-9.
We talked about it earlier today. A team is most exposed, or exposed very much so, immediately after killing a penalty because they think they've got it done. And before they can make the proper changes, because they've got defenders on there, they get caught. And again, Alami with just great movement, very unselfish for Munir. And a rather simple goal, but a result of just lapse in the concentration on the changes for Utica.
4:15 remaining, 9-9, 18 goals between the two teams. What a joy it's been presiding over this broadcast here. Pinal with Dutra on him. Over to Genrick. Belliard, who also has a goal today. I mean, at this point, with all the players we have down on the turf, you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody who hasn't contributed something offensively. Over to Toy Tavares. Tavares to Belliard. Belliard to Alava. Tries to find Pinal in the attack zone. Look at the defense by Polo, denying Amadi as he teed off. Mansoret to Lawal. Look at the contact between Lawal and Tavares. That's a foul. Both players going down. Doesn't look like we have a card, but that was some contact.
Very physical. It'll be interesting to see the replay here. Like who fell? Kind of coming in.
And Tavares still down on the deck. I mean, he took himself one heck of a hit.
That's as close as you can get to who makes contact on the ball first.
As UCFC's trainer, Handa Bisak, out on the turf, she's going to help up Tavares. That's the second time that Bisak has had to come out there. Early on in the opening moments of the first half, UCFC lost Steven Teixeira to an injury. And Hannah Bisak getting her name mentioned a couple of times today. I mean, the last thing that any team wants is their trainer's name being announced on the broadcast. But Tavares is back up on his toes. So it doesn't look like they're going to lose him today. Well, Check out the MASL's most controversial show, Under Review. Ryan Sigich and Phil Levanko. Phil Levanko's got himself a heck of a lot of shows. And that's all worth it. A legend in his own right. Also a fellow product of Queens, New York. Him being from Bayside, me being from Forest Hills.
Were you a social or a greaser?
Well, I'm too young to truly know what that means. Artie, that is a good reference. I'll tell you, I was just trying to find a way to poke fun at the fact that you're older than me, because usually it's the other people that I broadcast with that poke fun at my age.
Well, I can unequivocally claim to be a greaser in any environment that I was in. And proud of it.
Well, you and I are just both punks with a mic.
All caps, exclamation.
Exclamation point. Lols. Stinson chips it over to Wilkin. Wilkins had himself a heck of a game. He's made some tremendous saves as that one comes off Amati. As he looks into the skies, looked like he was begging for forgiveness with the soccer gods. The soccer gods have blessed both teams today, though, offensively.
I'll tell you what, I mean, it's Super Bowl, coming up to Super Bowl weekend. This could be very much who has the last possession, to finish this game off.
Oh, that's right. Totally forgot that was going on. Just kidding. Still a little bitter that the Seahawks beat the Rams. Is Ali Somo using the wall to his favor. Santos chipped by Wilkin. Back over to Santos.
But you got Penal working hard back there.
Penal's just
very good work.
He's such an impressive player in so many regards. That should be a t-shirt. No Penal, no party. I would buy it. Fabian over to Palmer. Will this game go into overtime? We'll explain those rules should we get there. Still anybody's game. Anything can happen. As the band Europe in the 80s once said, it's the final countdown. If you're not chewing on your nails, you still got some cuticles remaining. Who's it gonna be? Will UCFC upset the home team, or will the Empire strike back? It's anybody's guess. Fabian eyeing himself a hat trick. Palmer over to Diaz-Gonzalez, who scored today against Penal. Fires it, saved by Wilkin. Santos with the header, recovered by Alami. Back to Diaz-Gonzalez. Under a minute to go. Now we truly are down to the final countdown. Palmer in the midfield. To his line mate, Diaz-Gonzalez. Off the wall to Palmer. Palmer with the back heel. Tried to find Fabian. Amati gets in the way. De Andrade splices through the defense. Kick saved by Orozco. Penal. Fires it, saved by Orozco. Another attempt. De Andrade with the go-ahead goal. The fire from Penal almost put out by Orozco, but Nilton De Andrade in his return to UCFC, his first game back, puts UCFC up. It is now 10-9.
I'll tell you what, that's a wicked left foot, and just De Andrade just staying into it, following up on the spills. A great, I mean, again, no goalkeeper error anywhere in this game tonight. Just everyone playing well, everyone scrambling. Great opportunity for Utica, but guess what, Philly? 31.9 seconds, that's an eternity here, especially for these strikers who score with under 5 seconds a number of times.
Well, at this point, the Strikers have their backs against the wall, and nothing is more aggressive than a wounded animal as they're looking to claw their way back in. Alami's going to motion for timeout, and we're going to situate ourselves right here, 31.9 seconds. Artie, let's talk about the impact of Nilton De Andrade.
Just amazing. Just, his technique, his calmness on the ball, his leadership. That soul roll he did earlier in the third quarter just shows the caliber and level of this play. And I'll tell you what, Philly, this might be another opportunity to throw that bet out real quick to see what the over-under is on how many opportunities the Strikers are going to get in this last 30 seconds.
No kidding. The 4th point of the game for De Andrade. Scored in the second quarter, courtesy of Penal. Scored with 31 seconds remaining. It was Penal once again. And I asked Junior about the chemistry that he has with some of his teammates, and thought he had a lot of it with Gio Alves coming into this game, but it's clear that those ionic compounds, if we're going to talk science and chemistry here, really exist between Pinal and Nilton Andrade.
It's just been a spectacular night. I'm looking down, I see Tim Goldman, you know, the second recipient of the Joseph Kyrell Award, and this is a game Joseph would have loved. He and I would always talk about, Pops, you know, you want a 2-1 game or do you want a 10-9 game? And Joseph was all over the 10-9 game, so his spirit is living here, and Goldman, what a great young man to be here to watch this. Excellent footy across the board. What an entertaining game tonight.
Highly entertaining. And I made the comment in jest, but now I'm serious. If you don't find any excitement in this, you don't have a pulse. And by the way, once again, shout out to the American Heart Association. Play with heart today.
Undoubtedly. Are you kidding me?
Both
dude?
teams playing with an incredible amount of hearts. In fact, I'm feeling mine right now.
Mine's
It's about 180 beats per minute.
You can see it in my forehead. My heart beats in my forehead watching this dang thing.
Oh, is that that thing that's pulsating out of there?
Hey, easy there, big fella.
Family friendly, I get it.
Safe sport.
Strykers, you said it, in eternity. 30 seconds remaining. They're going to pull the keeper, Palmer. Palmer, who's contributed significantly on the offensive side with the assists. Second in the league last season. Under 20 to go. Strykers trying to find their opening. Stinson, look at the defense by Cole Stevens. That one has the distance, doesn't have the trajectory. It does not. Under 10. Palmer. Strykers are going to have to operate quick. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to fire one off, barring a miracle. There it is. Over to Mansourate. He just can't get the touch, and there's the final horn. Utica City FC comes into the Inland Empire, into Toyota Arena, and absolutely puts one heck of a performance on the scoreboard and on the score sheets. They defeat the Empire Strykers by a score of 10-9, ending their 3-game losing streak.